Oh, hey there. My name is Brent Smith. I am the Common Constitutionalist, and once again, welcome to the Common Constitutionalist, exciting edition of the weekend video podcast. Woohoo! Going to be talking about one topic today. This is the Georgia election law that just passed recently, and how all the leftists and corporations and whatnot are all in an uproar over this simple little constitutional law. How ridiculous. That's what I'll be discussing right after this. Be right back. Okay, so, hey, I'm back. Doing this inside because it's spring is in the air. Not in New England. It was chilly being out here. For about an hour it got decent out, and then that was about it. So, at any rate. So Georgia did pass a voter ID law by fairly wide margins in both the House and the Senate, and signed by Governor Kemp, as far as I know. Yeah. So anyway, who knew Georgia was just so racist? You've heard all this stuff on MSNBC and CNN about the standing in line. Oh, they're dying of thirst and standing in line in the blistering. Somebody actually said something about standing in the blistering sun. It's November, people. I'm sorry, Georgia, Atlanta. Okay, I can tell you firsthand. There ain't no blistering sun, even in Atlanta in November, okay? That would be quite exceptional, all right? Just saying. So anyway, it simply requires voters to present some form of photo ID for mail-in balloting. I don't know about in person. I'm not even going to worry about that right now, okay? But as far as mail-in balloting, now you have to present a photo ID to prove that you are who you say you are before you cast that mail-in ballot. Wow. Stop the presses, right? Just in case you were wondering about, the sob stories about the minorities and the poor and everything, whatnot, photo IDs, Georgia gives them out for free. They give out state photo, a non-driver's license, as far as I know, maybe even driver's license, photo IDs for free. Doesn't cost anything. So there you go. All right, so let me talk about the corporations. I'm going to go into the politics of the politicians and whatnot, because that's been done ad infinitum. As far as there are three major corporations that they're having hissy fits over this thing, and it's so completely woke and ridiculous. That's kind of like the same thing. Department of Redundancy Department. Corporations are, and they're calling this Jim Crow, the new Jim Crow, right? Okay. Corporations are Coca Cola, Delta, and the Major League Baseball Association, or whatever, MLB, Major League Baseball League. Okay. So anyway, the MLB is so outraged that they're pulling the All-Star game and the MLB draft. I'm sure they have one. Does anyone actually give a flying crap about the MLB draft? Really? No, no one cares except for the people being drafted and their families and maybe some die-hard fans. But that's about, this isn't the NFL draft. There is no other draft that is a big deal other than the NFL draft. Hockey, basketball, soccer, I don't even know if they have a draft in soccer or whatever, or baseball. None of them. Okay, the only big deal, the only draft big deal is the NFL draft. That's it, okay? So, that's what the Major League Baseball Association is going to do. That's what Major League Baseball is going to do. Is they're going to pull the All-Star game from Atlanta, the Truist Field, I think it's what it's called, down there where the Braves play, and they're going to pull the draft out. Whoop-de-frickin-do. So what? Okay? Is it a big event? I don't know. Maybe it is a big event, but I sure don't think so. Coca Cola is also having a hissy fit. And they're all up in arms about it. The CEO, I think, what the heck's his name? Ed, no, that was the CEO's, the CEO of Coke, or the president of Coca-Cola, who has a odd foreign accent. I don't know that he's even American. He may be a citizen, he may not be, but at any rate, that's beside the point. Coca-Cola is having a hissy fit because, again, they have gone completely woke across the board. It's ridiculous, okay? They're saying how they talk to the minorities in the company and whatever, and there's a big to-do about this voting thing. All it's asking is to present a photo ID to vote. How hard is that? I mean, and it's ridiculous. And you Democrats, you woke leftists, who complain that the photo ID is racist somehow, you know what you're telling blacks in America, minorities in America? That you're too lazy and you're too and I've said this 1,000 times. You're basically telling these people that they're too lazy and too stupid to go out and get their own photo IDs. I don't even understand it. And in Georgia, they're free, so you can't say they're too expensive, because they're certainly not, okay? And it should take some effort to vote. It's a big deal, and I'll handle that in a second. So Coke made the big deal. You know what you need a photo ID for? You know, to get a job at Coca-Cola. You can't get a job at Coca-Cola without presenting a photo ID. Okay, either at time of application or at the time probably of hire, you need to present a photo ID in order to work for Coca-Cola. You racist blank holes, okay? Delta Airlines, okay, that's the third. This is the trifecta of dimwits. According to its own CEO, Ed Bastian, they have this is a quote, we have a very, very large black employee base, because they are also, like Coca-Cola, is Atlanta-based, okay, and Delta Airlines. Which has a very, very large black employee base in Atlanta. So he says apparently they polled the black employees, or they spoke to the black employees or something like that. And says that the black employees are almost universally hurt. They feel like they're being universally hurt by this Georgia legislation. Well, that's interesting, because guess who else requires a photo ID to work for them? You can't get a job anywhere without presenting a photo ID when you get hired, so they know you can prove who you are, you can prove you're a U.S. citizen, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Whether it's upon application, whether it's upon interview, or whether it's upon hire, you can't work for Coca-Cola and you can't work for Delta without presenting your photo ID. So they're all so full of crap I can't even stand it. Okay, so I want to present something to you leftists, okay? Particularly you wealthy, woke, white, guilty leftists who think this is all, you're doing good for the minority community by making a big fuss about this, and you're going all woke for whatever, either to cover your ass or because you actually think this, whatever. If someone gave you a choice to either have the job of your dreams, the career of your dreams, to do what you've always wanted to do and get paid a handsome sum for it, okay? You have the choice of that, but in order to do that, you have to give up the right to vote. Or you can retain the right to vote and lose the job of your dreams, okay? Not that you had it to begin with, but that's what I'm talking about here. What would you choose? Most wouldn't look past the nose on their face and say, duh, I'll give up my right to vote. What's the big deal? Okay, my vote's going to be canceled out by whatever. Some right-wing wacko. Okay, some white supremacist. It'll cancel my vote out. Whatever, okay? I would say the majority of people, the knee-jerk reaction would be that they would take the job and lose their right to vote, literally forever, okay? Oh, and you have to remain in the United States in order to do so. You can take the job of your dreams, remain in the United States, reside in the United States, give up your right to vote. That's what most people would say. That's a slam dunk. What's the big deal with voting? Okay. So now, all you people have been given out. You've given away your right to vote. What happens when the politicians come back and say, okay, we're going to raise your taxes? Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to shut this down. We're going to do whatever. And eventually it affects you, particularly if you're going to raise taxes. You're going to raise capital gains taxes. You're going to raise real estate taxes. You're going to raise death taxes. You're going to raise income taxes. You're going to raise all these taxes, and you're going to do whatever. Eventually it hurts you. Where's your redress? You don't have any because you gave up your right to vote. These people stay in office because you can't vote them out. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, you can't see the forest through the trees, whatever you want to call it. All I'm saying is that the majority of the people given the choice would probably choose the dream job over the right to vote, because they wouldn't be thinking down the road when these politicians become authoritarian or autocrats, oligarchs, despots, whatever you want to call them, because they know they have lifetime tenure, because there's enough people that gave away their right to vote that they're going to stay in office forever. And they can do pretty much whatever they want to do, and there's no way now for you to stop them because you can't vote them out of office. I'm just saying. This whole voter ID thing is absurd, because when you think about it, all these corporations, all these people that are getting all in a huff over this nonsense, over this big, oh, Joe Biden, he gets up there in his press conference or whatnot, and he says, this thing is, it's absurd, it's ridiculous, it's like the put you all back in chains thing. He says that and he lied. He just lied. And I don't know if he knew he was lying, but whoever wrote his index card form that he was reading off of said that voting, now that this law has passed, they're going to end voting at 5 o'clock and send everybody home. Okay? Just when people are getting out of work, they're going to end voting. Well, I hate to say, but, well, I'm not even going to go there about the working thing. That was a demonstrable lie, and it was fed to them, apparently, by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, who didn't do any of the homework. They didn't read the bill. Read the bill! They didn't read the bill, which clearly stated that voting was open from 7 a.m. and closed at 7 p.m. And if you're in line at 7 p.m., they'll stay open until everybody's voted. So if you get to line, if there's 150 people ahead of you and you're in line at 6:58 p.m., you get to stay and vote. It was a demonstrable lie, but they just put it out there. Okay, they put it out there because they're dirty, smarmy politicians, and this is what the left does. So that's all I have today. It just, it really irks me to the point where you just want to shake these people and tell them to wake up, because no one's thinking about this. These CEOs are spouting this nonsense when their own company policies require photo IDs to work there. Yet you can't require a photo ID for something as incredibly important as voting. You know how many countries, you know how many people in the world don't ever get a chance to vote, okay? This is a privilege. It's a blessing to live in America, all right? Whatever. That's all I've got. My name's Brent Smith. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Yay. 2 weeks in a row and I got it without almost a pause. That's all I've got. See you next week or earlier or whenever.